What's up, YouTube? Young Hippie back. Just been really stoked about, getting back into these videos, so I decided story time again. Figured I'd post another video today. This time, the story is about the time I took 4-tabs LSD. So, I hit up my boy, and just for, example, I'm not going to use his name. We're going to say Bob and Billy. So I hit up my boy Bob, and I was like, yo. I was like, he was telling me he could get shroom pills, and I'm like thinking, shroom pills, I've never heard of them, but I've been told they really screw you up. You trip balls. So I hit up Bob. Now Bob has to go through Billy to get them, and Billy said if we go all the way to him, he's gonna give Bob 2 hits of LSD and the shroom pills. And like his LSD was 15 a tab, and I was getting 2 for me, 2 for my friend, so I didn't have $60 to drop on that much. So we walk all the way to Billy. Now I'm waiting around the corner. Me and my friend are waiting around the corner. Bob goes over to Billy. Now originally I was gonna smoke a blunt with Bob, and Bob was gonna give us the tabs of acid and the shroom pills that we paid for. So I'm thinking 2 shroom pills for me and my boy and a tab of acid should be a fun night. Okay, well, the dude was high on something, I don't know, that's just what my friend said. He was really high, and he only left acid, so I'm thinking, whatever, I only paid $40 and got 4 hits of acid, and so, out of respect, because he didn't give him the acid and the shrimp pills, out of respect, I smoked a blunt with my boy anyways. Well, before we smoked this blunt, he pulls out the tabs, and, there's 2 pinky-sized tabs, and then there's a tab that literally looks about the size of a Xanax bar. It was literally, about that long. Okay? So I paid for everything, and I'm thinking, alright, bet, I'm gonna take the biggest tab. So I practically dropped around 4 or 5 tabs that night. And my friend took the 2 pinky ones. And, so we walked about 2.5 miles for this shit, and on our way back, I'm like debating on whether this shit's real or not, and all of a sudden, I'm just swinging my arms back and forth, and I stop, and I'm like, whoa, and like tracers, I'm just moving my arm, and there's just tracers everywhere, and I'm like, whoa, what is going on? And so like we get back to the crib, and like I'm starting to trip pretty hard. I had a long sleeve shirt on because it was a little chilly out, and some sweatpants. Now, before I get into this next part, I've never actually had a full-on bad trip. Now, what I consider a bad trip is having a bad trip for longer than a half an hour. Half an hour or longer is considered a bad trip in my book. Now, there's times where I've had bad parts of a trip that lasted maybe 5-10 minutes. So, I'm starting to sweat bad. I'm sweating real bad. I'm getting hot. So, I'm going up in the room, and I'm looking for a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, and I look into the doorway, and I see this silhouette of this dude. He looks like he has dreads, but like it's a silhouette, it's all black. It looks like he has dreads, and he's hanging his head over to the side like this and looking at me, and it looks like stuff is dripping from his dreads. And my first thought is blood, so I'm like, whoa, I just saw some bloody dude with dreads staring at me, so I'm like, whoa. I start to freak out for a minute, so I keep blinking my eyes, so like I'm not fully focused on if I see him again. I gather my clothes, I throw on some shorts and a t-shirt, and I book it to the garage where we're all chilling. And we're just chilling in the garage. Well, we smoke a couple bowls of weed, and then we actually go on a walk. And around the corner from our house was this old Kroger's that had closed down, and the factory next door had bought the parking lot property and had a bunch of, I don't really know what it was, but it's like concrete pallets that were stacked on top of each other, and there was like a little space where you could get in, and you're basically surrounded by them so no one can see you. Well, like, I'm getting confused because I'm like, I don't really know where I'm at, and I'm getting lost. And, like, we're just there to smoke a couple bowls. And, so basically, I get back. We start to walk back, and we get back to my boy's street, or well, I was living with my boy at the time, so we get back to the street his house was on, and I had totally forgotten where we just went. I was like, where were we? Where did we just go? And he sat there and explained to me what we had just did, and then it clicked, and I remembered. I was like, oh shoot, that is what we just did. And like, it was crazy. And we just chilled for like another 4 or 5 hours. They decided to go to bed, and they were like half awake, and I'm just chilling in the bed, like just dazed, just a little confused, still tripping a little bit. And like, so I get up, I go to use the bathroom, and like, I'm just chilling in the bathroom. I use the bathroom, washing my hands, and I'm just looking in the mirror, and like, my face just looks all weird. And I'm just like, whoa. Like, that's probably the hardest I've ever tripped in my life. And that's probably the most tabs I've ever tripped. But, like, it was crazy. And I had a lot of fun. And I learned, you know, it was definitely mind-opening and whatnot. But I wouldn't probably recommend ever taking that much again. I mean, you know, it's always up to you, and if you've somehow built a tolerance up to it and whatnot, and that's how many you need to take to have a good time, then by all means, go ahead. But, you know, for me, probably would never go down that route again, just for the simple fact that you don't always know what you're getting, and a lot of times if you do see apparitions, which is what they consider when you see, like, other people that aren't there, other things that aren't there, they consider them apparitions. And they say, well, if you start to see apparitions and stuff, it might be a nasty research chemical. So like, you always got to be careful with what you're getting and how much you take of it, because it's kind of hard to find pure LSD nowadays. At least from around in Michigan where I'm from, it's kind of hard to find pure LSD. But you know, there's always those good research chemicals that aren't like bad for you and still give you a pretty good trip. But like, yeah. Overall, I had a really good time. My friend had a really good time. I think that was his first time doing it too. I don't even remember, but we just had a blast. We did lots of walking. I don't know. It seems like I always have a bunch of energy when I'm on SID or, you know, whatnot, or even mushrooms, and I just want to like walk and go on adventures. I mean, yeah, there are times where I just want to sit down and jam out to some music, but other times I want to sit there and, you know, chill and have a good time and just relax. And then sometimes I just want to go, like, walk around and go on adventures and stuff. So, that about wraps this video up for story time. If you guys like these videos, give it a thumbs up. Give it a like and subscribe. Tell your friends. I actually got a lot more stories about, tripping. And I'll be posting a lot more videos now that I'm back in the swing of things. So peace out, YouTube. Young Hippie. Deuces.